Hi everyone. So obviously you might or might not know me by now. My name is Ryan. I'm the sole and only participant in Rolling Stop Photography Shop, which is a wedding photography company based out of Liverpool, but I do go all over, to be fair. This is the first of its kind, I suppose. And the reason why that's the case is because this one seems just that little bit more personal, a little bit deeper than I would normally speak. Longer format. Hopefully you will listen to the whole thing because there's an underlying reason why I'm saying it in this way as opposed to the quick videos that you might be used to before. Just in case you haven't seen me before, like I say, my name's Ryan. I do run a wedding photography company. It's been established for about 10 years now, which I like to say is like a perfect spot in time. Now, it's good in the sense that I've been around for a while, so I understand wedding days, but it's not negative where I've been there doing it so long that it's now just like a one size fits all. I'm still adapting. I'm still relatively new and a baby in terms of like the longer reach that I want to be around for. But I still have fresh ideas all the time, and I'm still always trying to think up new ways really to increase the customer experience. I think for me, what I've definitely seen after being doing it for so long is that, especially in the modern day, it's not enough anymore to just be a photographer and just give people a visual medium back to totally encapsulate their day. From my point of view, I think we live in a state and time where you need to be more. And I rebranded my company specifically for that in 2025 to try and entice or to try and put across that version of I want to be more for you, the end user. And a part of that process is not just about changing the logo, which I did, and changing pricing structure, which I did, and create new forms and ways to be able to see me, which I have done already. It's an evolutionary thought process that everything I now do is always with intent. And part of that intent is to make my presence on your day feel more personal. You know, like I say, it's not enough for me to just give you back pictures anymore. It's not enough for me. It might be enough for other people out there or the creators, and that is great. It might even be enough for you as an end user that that's what you want. But I want you to remember me for the years to come. You know, I don't want these pictures to just be like modern day shows, to just be a here and now thing. I want these to last eternally. And part of that is to figure out ways that I can be more eternal to you, to prey on different senses, to prey on different ideas, and just to give you something that is a lot more unique to you specifically. Part of the journey where I'm up to now is, and this has been something that has been growing in the background really. I have touched on it in some of my social media posts. I've teased the idea a little bit. I've also shared the idea with a number of different people to try and like gauge a reaction, whether positive or negative. But something that has been getting worked on in the background to play into other senses. It's not just to be present there visually, it's to be present in more ways than one. And the way that was a natural step for me was to create something that you can take with you after it. Similar to the photos you've got afterwards, you'll also got something else. And Rolling Stop 25 is the first of its kind. As far as I know, it is a very original idea. No other creative in my line of sight and other people I've spoke to has actually done this, which is very difficult to find an original idea these days, especially with us all using similar technology, similar techniques, similar looks, similar styles. But another part of what I was trying to do is try and get away from all this like buzzword, unnatural noise, you know, something that's just there to be said. It needs to be felt. So that's where this idea has come from. It's been said enough that I've kind of started to believe this, because it's hard to take, or certainly for me, it's hard to take deep praise. Obviously, as a human being, we're all very self-critical of how we do and how we're perceived, especially in the modern way. But people have told me it enough times where I've now started to believe this, and they've said that on their wedding days, I bring naturally a calm and presence. I can only put this down to my emotional intelligence, something that I've harnessed over time, and certainly over the last 10 years doing these weddings. And for me, it was just trying to figure out a way that how can I bottle that in a way that like a couple will feel it more. And that's where this idea has come from. So just to summarize before we go into the product and what it is that I'm actually talking about today. So for me, delivering your final gallery isn't the end of our journey. For me, I want something that is eternal, and while all those creators are trying to give everybody our version of what our art is, something that they can cherish forever, I come from a time where something tangible, something physical, something in your hands is just as important as something you see, because our other senses like touch and sight and smell and everything, they all come together to commonize in what our brain perceives as what we like. And this was part of that. So I want to give and offer something that starts your journey, but also ends your journey and continues your journey. And that's where we are today. Here we are. So this is what I've been talking about. This is, in my opinion, the first step towards being more than just a visual medium. What I have in my hands has been something that I've thought about for a number of months, and I never really knew how it would be executed because I didn't have the expertise, the skill, or the knowledge to actually even pull it off. And essentially, it is a wedding day candle, which has been done before. It's nothing new, but not direct in this way. You get a different company for different things, much like all your different suppliers on a wedding day. They'll have different skill sets. This is a way for me to offer you more than one skill set. So you've got me and my presence, which is calming and relaxing. Hopefully people think that is true. But also this signifies that in another sensory way. So just to kind of give you a little bit of a taste. I don't know if you can see that. You can. So this is it in a nutshell. This is my version of that extra presence that I'm looking for. This is the Roll and Stop Wedding Day candle. This will be lit on your wedding day and will give a sense and air of calmness, which is something that I always like to try and bring. The candle has been created, not by myself. The idea was created by me, but the candle itself was being created by a couple of friends which I've made along the way. Someone who's actually brought this and would only have been able to bring this to reality through them. Comes like this. Oops, let's just pretend that didn't happen. Comes like this. And this is it. You will like this on your wedding day. And this is a totally unique scent which has been created from scratch. This is not me finding someone random on the street and, just taking what they have and just putting it out there and rebranding it as my own. This is something that we've done over a number of weeks, sampling, testing, prototypes, research and development. Like, it's all gone into being this. And this, for me, is a way of encapsulating your day, but also being unique to you because there's no other scent like this out there. So I was just mentioning there that, obviously I wouldn't have been able to do this alone. There's millions of us that can just reach out to the internet these days and pluck something out of thin air. I didn't want that to be the case. I always believe in serendipity. I always believe in chance and fate. And, when I was trying to research this idea and figuring out how it would become possible, these guys just kind of showed up out of nowhere. And it felt very natural and very authentic, and our initial conversations just always went down the right route, or it just felt like it was meant to be. And that's my new friends, which are here with me today, because it wouldn't be fair of me to talk this up without being able to back it up. I'm not a believer in that. I'm not just trying to sell you something. I want you to feel why. And I could only do that with the help of you two. So do you want to give yourselves a little who you are?
Yeah, so we are a recently launched company. We're Liverpool-based, and our brand is called Botanifolia, as you can see on the labels too. And so we recently launched our company, and we are really happy to be collaborating with Roll and Stop. And it's been a lovely journey for us too. We're still growing, and it feels like we're growing together. And yeah, what should I talk about?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
Nice intro.
Oh, it was like a good chance to like coming together. It's like as you said, like serendipity is because we've like opened our Instagram page and we were following like people, the pages that we find cool to like get follows back, etc. So we can like build a base, a niche or something. And like we saw your page and we followed it, and like you sent a message immediately saying like I was like I had some idea for a while now, and it was really, it sounds like fate that you would like follow me at this point. And are you ready like do you want to talk more about it, like can we meet, something like that? You send a message like that. And then, like it was really nice how it came together as well, because there it's almost like coincidental in a way.
This is it.
It was
This,
Yeah.
like faith for us too.
Yeah,
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 same.
for sure.
I think
Because like
so.
we were a very like recently branched, like a launched brand back then. Actually, it's been like a month since we've been posting on Instagram or trading, so it was really good.
Yeah, what it was for me, and I think this the reason why it's kind of became what it now is, because I think the outside world might look at that and go, well, it's a brand new company, they're not going to be very good. But the reason why I think it really stuck for me that you were definitely the people. Forget about our like immediate connection, which we definitely had. Like we just found like a common ground in how we thought and everything. And for me, it's when you started talking about your history of your like where you've came from and where you got to this point. So I thought that it was important to be able to tell people that like I've mentioned before, this isn't just me plucking something off the street, and
Yeah.
this is done in a professional way using like the people who are doing it like on the ground running. And it is an evolutionary process, like much like a feeling, like a wedding day. So
Well,
can
yeah,
you
we
talk a little bit about where you're?
yeah, we are a recently launched company, but I personally have years of experience in the industry. I'm a chemical engineer, and I have degrees in cosmetic science and natural products chemistry, and I have years of experience in personal care industry and pharmacy also. And I did work in an aromatherapy company. Actually, my journey started with the scents over there. Yeah, I have years of experience in the industry, personal care industry, and I worked in different companies. And I worked in an aromatherapy company and as a formulator and a production specialist. So that's where I started learning about aromatherapy, different scents, how to build a fragrance, how a base note works, a middle note, a top note works. And so a lot of experience and knowledge brought us here today. We are a new company, but our experiences it goes way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what I liked about you as well. Like I hadn't just found you and you just started out, because I think when anybody's starting out, there's usually an era of like they're not quite sure or they haven't quite fully developed themselves or whatever it might be. But I think for you guys, like having that background, I think it was important to show that like I say, this isn't just being created like overnight.
Yeah.
This
Oh
comes from
yeah.
a rich background in like understanding and awareness. Like I had no idea of top notes and middle notes and how formulas are making, and even just how much of each ingredient to
Yeah.
put in and stuff like that. Like I would never have known that, which is why I wouldn't ever say to my couples that I've made these. I haven't made these. I've created the idea. These guys have made it.
Well, also you can like different individual scents, but when you put them together, it might not smell as well, as good. And I think being able to combine them, like you said, being able to combine the fragrances in a way that they are harmonious and smell very nice, and also be safe, it requires an experience and knowledge and passion also.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely what I got from you as well. Like obviously I'm passionate, wildly passionate, almost too passionate probably sometimes in what I do in my creative outlet. And I got that exact feeling from you, like the very first time we met.
Oh
And like
yeah.
even
Yeah.
before you'd ever made me a single scent or smell, because obviously we went through like the R&D process to figure out which scent we wanted to put forward. Just on speaking to you and how you are as a couple and everything about you just screamed, these are the right people for me.
Yeah.
And that's why we are where we are.
And I feel like our individual experiences and expertise, it combines really well to
Yeah.
bring this brand to the table. Maybe you want to add
Yeah,
about
of
it, yeah.
course. I mean, like, as you said, when you first saw our page and everything, it didn't look like we just started doing that. And that's because, like, I mean, actually, it was years in making, like the whole process. Because even the name Botanifolia, it's in like a 5-year-old name that's found by her actually, like because she had that name in her mind and she wrote it down, like even designed the logo for it. It's not the logo that we have now, but like she had that in mind. It was her passionate dream to like start a well-being company for many years now, ever since we met actually. So like it all started coming together over the years. We talked about it. We obviously share like a love for plants, which brought us together. But like she is more of the scientific, like the production side of the things, and I'm more like the focusing on the marketing side, which was my past experience. So it all came together over the years. We were talking about it. She was working on different companies, etc. And like after a while it just made sense to like start our own company basically, because she had already enough experience and we had like really creative ideas that we want to share with people. And it all came together. So actually, even though we say like we just started trading, we're a new company, etc., I mean, I think it doesn't do justice to the like fact that you have years of especially you. I mean, I'm just following you at this point.
Well,
Yeah.
you bring a lot to the table
Yeah,
too.
I mean,
That's-
obviously, but like,
Yeah.
Well,
you're the product.
I think much like this, it's a perfect amalgamation of different materials and ingredients. And I think knowing, I think you don't know this because I haven't told you this, but I think the fact that you create this as a couple and you put your own part into it to actually make the final product, for me, from someone who works in weddings, obviously a day of love, that connection of a couple, it's been made with love from my point of view. And that's why I think it will feel really nice on the day, because it's been made from a passion and a deeper understanding on like a deeper level than just we've made a product. You know, you've had conversations, you know, you've had the backwards and forwards, you've agreed, disagreed, and you know, that's what's come to the point of having this out there now, which I think it's just the right time to do it for all of us in our little journeys. It seems very natural. So
Feels
obviously we've all got the candle in our
Yeah.
hands.
Yep.
You know, we've got to this stage now where it's become a final product. And I think just initially we'll just talk about why we've made this choice. Now, when I first found you guys and I seen your products in real life, obviously I purchased one of those products from you. It was the whole experience, how it felt to me. And this is why it is important to me. It's how it feels to a customer, not just how it smells, but also how it feels. And we've talked about this. When I opened your boxes for the first time, which are similar to this, it felt luxury to me. It felt premium. Similar to iPhone, similar to Apple products, this seems to be a feeling and an experience from when you get one of their products. This felt the same to me. And it created something in my mind which was more than just I've got something. I felt something. And when I opened it up, it was that like soft open, that like air trapped between that, and then obviously there's the smell. But why these boxes?
So, yeah, when we started creating these candles, obviously the first priority is to have the perfect candle, right? After we were done with that, we decided on the candles. We didn't want to have a boxing that is gonna reduce the experience, if that makes sense.
That makes total sense.
Or just
So-
want to be thrown away after the candle is taken out, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
So these boxes, anything we tried a lot of different boxes actually. We got a lot of different samples. This one just felt right. It just feels like it reflects the candle itself a little bit better, and we do use high quality ingredients in our candles too. And we didn't want to have a very complex outer box like a jar. We went for a very straight, classic, clear jar. Transparent, so it can be sustainable. Also, the boxes, it can be recycled.
Reused for others, like upcycled as well, because you can use the box after you use the candle for some, like store something, because it was not, if it was not a rigid box, then they would like maybe throw away.
Yeah.
But like
Which
with
is what
this,
I think what typically
Yeah.
people do. They'll just open something and they'll throw away the box.
Exactly. And we
Happens
didn't want
with,
that.
with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned it earlier on before we came. You could use this as like a jewelry box.
Exactly.
And
Anything you
on
want.
a wedding day, that's perfect because people often have jewelry, whether it be heirlooms passed down or brand new jewelry, like expensive. This would be rigid enough
Yeah.
to hold that.
and
And
it's
you're
not
probably like
heavy.
looking at me now, like, don't destroy those boxes.
I was gonna say it's not heavy, so it's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
convenient in that way.
No.
No, it's like a sturdy box for
It
sure.
is.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people can actually see it on the image, but
Yeah.
the actual box itself
Texture
is not just like a flat surface. There is a texture to it. There's an emotive feeling when you run your hands down the side of the box, not in a creepy way. That creates something more than it just being a box,
Exactly.
And then obviously there's certain elements to the box which we've created subtly. Part of that is explaining what is inside it. So it's an aromatic premium candle, naturally derived soy wax, which obviously
Yep.
you have a wealth of experience in. And I think something which will play out in time is that every box has the year that it was created in. So this one, obviously, Roland Stop 2025, that's the year of that scent. Much like a premium wine, they'll all have a vintage year where they
Exactly.
start. This will be the first of its kind. So it only seemed right to put 2025 on it. Obviously, as the years fall by, 2026 will have a new scent, which will be specific to your wedding day, 2027, 28 and onwards. But I thought it was important to have that because I'm a big believer also in personalised things and also things that seem sentimental. So that's why the box can be kept because it's also got the year
Exactly.
of your wedding. So it's almost like a reminder, if you like, that was the time. Certainly for the lads out there, they'll probably forget what year it was. I know I do sometimes. But yeah, so RNS, obviously my little logo there. Wedding day, which is obviously what it's for. This particular version anyway, which we'll see what happens down the line. And then in collaboration with Botanifolia, which is obviously you guys. And then we get to the inner
Yeah.
sanctum of said
Let's go for it.
product. And here we are.
Smells really good. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's because we made it together, but
Do you know what's funny about this? Do you know what's funny about this is like, before meeting you guys, I started. I like to think that I'm quite a well-rounded individual, let's just say, and I don't just think about things from a certain point of view. I'm very eclectic on my thoughts and things like that. But one thing I've definitely started noticing over the last, certainly over the period when I've been in weddings and seeing how emotional people can get by simple things. I like the idea of this is so simple of an idea, but also so impactful and so immersive.
Yeah.
But leading up to this, I was myself going to different stores and testing out different scents, and I kind of found that I was creating a version of me that was more aware of how different scents make you feel. And I think obviously we've created this with the ingredients, which we'll touch on in a sec, and they create an air of calm. As soon as I smell this, it just feels calming.
Yes, I think it's calm, cozy, and luxury at the same time.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Also romantic.
Yeah, well, we've asked a couple of people just like off the cuff, haven't we? Like the first time I met you is with the prototype, and we just asked random people in the cafe that we met, what does this smell like to you? And their first reaction was, what did they say?
Well, one of them said it smells like a very sophisticated man,
Sophisticated man. That was
yeah.
it. Sophisticated man.
which is interesting because I think this scent is very neutral in terms of any gender. It smells really good overall.
It smells luxurious, I think. Like,
Yeah,
that's what...
sophisticated.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah, sophisticated. Yeah, full stop.
yeah.
But then we asked your friend today, didn't we, where you have your office, and her opinion was that it smells like love.
Yeah.
Which
is
was
perfect.
really, really warming, to be honest with you. Especially, like, she was just a pure neutral, and having you tell me that she's someone who just speaks openly and speaks their mind, almost too truthful sometimes. That really said to me that this is right. You know, the fact that she said that, it tells me that we've made the right choice here. But talking about choices, let's have a little go at the background, the R&D. So you made me what, 4 fragrances, I think.
Created 4 fragrances. I think they all smelled really nice. But the first one we ended up choosing is, I think, that that particular scent that we made. I think it was the first idea that comes into my mind. So that was the first thing that I made, actually. So that fragrance that we picked is the one that was mostly made. My motivation was
Instinctively.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And like based on your obviously pitch as well, like
Well,
like
yeah.
your brief, because like we wanted to create something according to what you want, and then we made a couple of alternatives, but like we ended up picking the first one anyway. So
Yeah.
like right off the bat, I think you nailed it.
Because I remember you bringing a candle from New York. It smelled like a very fresh, maybe even like a aftershave scent. But we didn't want it to smell like a very gender related. So I think it had the same sophisticated element, but it's now gender neutral and really really nice scent that we made. In terms of the ingredients, we always use soy wax. We don't use any paraffins because they can diffuse into your space nasty chemicals like toluene and benzene. We don't want any of the nasty chemicals in our candles because we light the candle to make something good for ourselves, right? We don't want anything bad happening in our space when we light a candle. And we always use very high quality fragrances in our candles. And
Also, is that they're like vegan if you're interested in that as well, because we use soy wax, which is like a sustainable product, because like the most of the products that are used as wax in candles, such as like beeswax or paraffin, they're not like sustainably produced candles. They're either not vegan or they're like byproducts of petroleum, basically, which is not good for the environment. So that's what we wanted to do, like from the beginning, to use products that is like sustainable for the environment, is good, it can be upcycled, recycled, etc. So I think like that's one of the points that we can make about this. So it's also good for the environment as well.
yeah. And when making an aromatherapy candle, we do use essential oils, but only using essential oils and soy wax candle doesn't mean that you're sustainable. So we also take one further step and we check the red list if that plant is endangered or not. We check that too. If it's a high risk ingredient, a plant, we don't use that essential oil, even though it smells amazing. We're also conscious about that too, and I think it's really important to think about that too.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say, but I'm trying to find it now. Yeah, so you sent me what the scent notes are for this candle. Now, we won't divulge exactly how much of each was used because we don't want anyone copying our scent. But just to give people an idea, because I think people out there will already have an understanding of what they like. Much like I did, I had a feeling, but they don't necessarily know why they like it. So I was just going to say, like, there's different notes. There's top, middle, and base, which you've obviously got a wealth of knowledge in. Top, saffron, mandarin. Middle, amberwood, vanilla. Base, cedarwood, patchouli, and musk. Now, I think it's important to say what is inside of this so people can already see how they will appreciate the different scents that they will smell and obviously feel down the line.
Yeah, I think musk, vanilla, amberwood, these are very popular, generally loved scents, but we added saffron, mandarin to make it a little bit lighter and sophisticated, so it smells like a very complex yet simple and elegant scent.
I think that's what it is as well. What I'm always trying to do in my own business, in my own world, is trying to create something that is simple but effective. Like I keep on mentioning this, but I'm always doing everything with intent these days. I'm not just trying to give someone a product, whether it be photography or now this, that is just like a throwaway, instant and then forget about it later type of version of events. I want to give them something that is everlasting, so that it's not too complicated that they don't understand, but complicated enough that it can't be replicated.
Yeah.
And I think I do that not just on wedding days, but obviously now also in this. I think that's something I definitely wanted to get across to anyone who may think that this will be part of your day. But just to talk about this a little bit more, it's going to come in a number of ways. The reason why this is so important, and just to give you an idea of how this will work on your wedding day. So we've got the 30 CL candle. Obviously, this is the biggest of its form. This is the one that you will light on your wedding day that will fill the room. You know, this is the one that's going to make you feel that air of calm. Because on a wedding morning, it can be very chaotic, depending on how many people you've got in that room at any one time. And I think this is a way to bring it all back down and to make everyone feel grounded and to make you feel and engulf the room in a certain sense. So this will be the one that all couples who choose the full day option will receive. It's not an additional extra. You don't have to pay any more money for this. This is something that I would just give because it, for me, is a way of being able to give more than what you expect. So everyone will have this lit on their wedding morning if they choose. Then, because that is obviously reminding them of their wedding morning, when it comes to the end, well, when it comes to the part where you're receiving your full gallery, you'll already have this at home, so this is yours to keep. But in with your images and your USB, you will also receive a miniaturized version of this, just in case you have run out of the bigger scent, because the chances are you will light it probably every day, or at least I hope you do. That smaller candle will give you a way when you're looking back at your images with your partner when you've been married. It will cascade you not just back visually, but also from a scent point of view. So you'll be able to relive your wedding day in more ways than one. So you'll have your top one on your wedding day, and you'll have the mini one when you're looking back over your images. I thought that was really important.
Yeah.
And it's a way to kind of like bring everything back down to the original day.
Well, that's really important because, I mean, like we have to talk about the science behind like the connection between smell and memories as well, like without going into boring details, obviously, but, you know, like the olfactory system, the smell system in your brain, like is close to the limbic system, which is the part of the brain that records like memories and also, you know, works with emotions as well. So like smell is really connected to the emotions and memories in mind too. That's why like I'm sure you experienced it before, and like the viewers experienced it before as well. Like you smell something and it brings you like 20 years before, you know, like it's a nostalgic feelings you get from your smells. That's the reason why, like they're really connected in your brain. So I think the idea behind this was to remind people of the like magical day of their wedding. So whenever they smell this, they can like instantly go back to that day and feel like really back in that magical day, because it's, I think, like it adds another sense to the whole experience, which is really good.
I agree.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, because I wanted to mention that we actually use the highest percentage that of a fragrance that can go inside a candle. It's almost the maximum amount that the soy wax can handle. So our cold throw is really good, and even if the candle is not lit, it smells amazing. You can smell it after you burn the candle.
It
and then
amplifies, yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
Well, I said this today
Yeah.
because of our prototype, which is how we've got to this stage. Although it was a mini candle and I'd like partway burned, if you like, it almost feels like the scent becomes richer the deeper it goes. And I
Yeah.
think likening that back to like a wedding day, for example, you know, the deeper the connection I can have with a couple, the better it feels. The case with this is like the deeper you go into the undergrounds of why it's there, the better it smells. I thought that is another reason why I thought that was the scent for us. Like it made, you know, it just said what it was.
That's a great metaphor.
Yeah.
Do you think?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just made that up.
That was great.
Yeah, it was good. It's good. I mean, it says like also good throw. You don't even have to light it, which is like really good.
Well, if you light it and then blow it out, after that it smells even better. like
Yeah,
you
so
said.
it gets better over time. It's really nice.
So I think just tying into like helping people understand why this could be important, because I think sometimes, like I say about risk appetite, we don't always know what we like. We don't always know what will cascade us back. I know from my own wedding day, the songs that we picked for our day didn't become the songs that reminded me of my day. There was a song by, I think, Jessie J, of all artists, that pulled me back into my wedding day every single time I hear it now, which I don't hear it very often. And it was the things that we least expected to have an impact that actually ends up being the impact and the driver. And I think you told me a story when we met about how in your own wedding day you had a similar experience. And I think it's worthwhile sharing that with people who are listening, who it will help them figure out what I'm trying to get across. So could you tell us what that was?
In our wedding after party, we hired a DJ, but we didn't give like a specific like set or like a set list, playlist, anything. We just said, okay, we talked a couple of minutes, and he said, okay, I got you. I'll do something that you like, and we said, okay. And the day of the party, we went there, and he brought like an African drum, like with another person, and like had a DJ set or something, and he played an Afrobeat set that we didn't even request it, but it was so much fun. It was really good, and after that, like every time now I listen to Afro beats, like African dance music or something like that, I remember that day of our wedding day, and it makes me really happy. It brings me back to that day, and this is just like a sound memory. Like a smell memory is even more actually strong than that. To be honest, it's even stronger than that. But like now, I can connect a certain type of genre of music with that day. It reminds me like being surrounded by our family, friends, like that magical, beautiful day. It was really good. Like I even have a playlist of that kind of music in my phone now, like on Spotify. I can just like whenever I want to reminisce, I just listen to it.
I think the thing I love about when
Yeah.
you told me that was that it was something that you didn't expect to be
Yeah.
an impact. And I think this is why I think this particular candle would be a way of enhancing your experience without having to think about it.
Do you remember that drum was actually covered with neon lights? So when we saw it, we were a bit shocked, and
Yeah.
then we were like, "Let's just wait for it, see how it turns out." And then the drum guy, he was like, "Trust me, you're gonna have fun." And then we trusted him, and it was amazing. So maybe trusting the process,
Yeah.
trusting the people who knows, trusting the people who know how to have fun in a wedding day, or how to create a calm environment for the wedding, the groom and the bride. Maybe trusting people who have a lot more experience in weddings is a nice way to elevate your experience in
Yeah.
your wedding day.
Yeah, and that's what you want, isn't it? Like, I mean, you have a lot going through your mind, like because it was
Yeah.
a stressful thing. Like we
Very
remember,
stressful.
I mean, it was really stressful planning your wedding, like going through like parents and everything. Like the whole process is organizing. The whole process is really hard. So like when other people think about stuff for you and do it for you, like the things that you will like. I mean, it's really comforting because you don't have to think about it, because you have to think about like a million things at the same time. So it's really nice that you're doing this for the people you're taking the photos of now. It's really nice, like a beautiful gesture, like a small gift. And that I believe they're going to cherish for a long time.
So this is obviously just the tip of the iceberg for me, I think. I'll always be thinking of new ways and more adventurous ways in some ways to create a deeper feeling and deeper connection to my couples. Like some people see it as a bad thing. I actually think it's a great thing. I always try and be friends with everybody who I come into contact with. Every couple's not just a customer to me. So I don't refer to them as that. Like I don't call people clients. I don't call people customers. They are couples. Every single person has their own unique experience, and I want them to have a unique experience from me. And I will adapt to make them feel as calm, comfortable, relaxed, whatever it is. And this is just another way of doing this. The bigger picture for me is that I just want the connection to my couples to be more emotional, not just a service-driven, thing that you've just picked up and you've paid for. Something that resonates with you on a much deeper level. Something that it's down the line can be remembered, and that you'll always remember me and I will always remember you. We need to meet at a level where fate and serendipity have chosen us to be together and connected on your day. Having something like this, and obviously the images that will infuse themselves together, will create that long-lasting version of events, in my opinion. I wanted, in this modern world, to create something that was more intentional, more human, if you like, because we've become so obsessed as a humankind to be so current, which is great in most parts, but I think we've forgotten how to look back and remember who we were. Images have a great way of doing that, to show people when they were younger, when they were with us, and scents have another way, like we mentioned before, have a way of cascading you back 20, 30, 40 years, and these will always be eternal to you. Okay, so for me, if you're a couple that's getting married soon or in the future, or even if you're a couple that has already booked in with me for this year onwards, this will be something that I would love to apply to your day. I understand it's not going to be for everybody. Even in some ways, you might not even get the idea, the concept behind it. Like I've mentioned already, nobody really, from a creator's point of view, is doing this hand in hand. The reason why, for me, is because it becomes a formula that creates something more. Much like the scents and tones that are the ingredients of this product. I have an ingredients list, if you like, that I want to put to a couple to make them understand that my equation is that you feel more from my presence. This amplifies that to a level that I don't think I've been able to actually give before. So basically, I'm just kind of going to push it in there and hope that in time, more and more people will understand the importance, and it will become something that is like a staple, certainly for me, that going forward in the years to come. If it's 2030, you can come back to smell your candle from 2025, like I say, because every label is boxed and with the date involved. So you'll always be able to get a 2025 from me, 2026 or whatever it might be. And you'll always be able to take yourself back no matter where you are in the future. So I think that's like the end conclusion to initially what I wanted this to be about, is to show people the reason why I've created it, the people I've created it with, and how we've actually made it to this point. It's really important for me that people at least give it a chance. I think, our risk appetite as a humankind these days is reduced, because we like convenience and comfort, and we don't always explore the unknown. This for me is a way to do that in a very, very simple form. Obviously that sounds very deep, but I am quite a deep emotional thinker. And I think if people can understand why I'm doing this and appreciate why I'm doing this, I think we're just hitting the ground running, guys. Good. So you'll be able to see this going forward.